oxygenate particularly now working with the DNA. We keep telling Brian to oxygenate because he's an idle one. So we're truly blessed that he learns how to concentrate. And control of mind, as we're beginning to learn in a finite discipline, is probably the greatest asset that we have. That's a double-edged sword because it's so difficult in an inconclusive condition that is not gathered and collected itself into light, to monitor that outer world. That world which seems less and less real to us and to you as you go further and further into multidimensionality. Much is coming up for a lot of you, and I beg, as Peter passes out his pipe, that you all use discernment. Because in this age where darkness is so prevalent and still wishes to reign, some channeled information is not correct. In fact, much of it is not. Much of it's from the astrals. Much of it is disconnected with light. Let's put it that way. So these seeds of consciousness which you are building through your own intuition, through the recoding genetically, through your connection with the source, through the cosmic heart, through the vibration being increased, of all bodies, as bodies uniting as one in preparation for your final release of this density. And you waited a very, very long time to have this happen, as you all know. So people were asking me about discernment, and they've been to this one and they've been to that one. Only you can be the final barometer of what your truths are. You can experience relative truth. You cannot experience perfection. So the distortions of what have been stated to you honorably for your planetary government, of which Brian was a member, some part of himself was here, a small part. We believe perfection was available to us, but we had very limited corridors of light and information. You do not. So with misinformation coming in, not just regarding these kinds of teachings, but it suits darkness to have confusion. And you all understand that. You understand it only too well. And you get particularly frustrated when government misaligns its truth. When people speaking of God have no understanding of God or all that is. with this recoding comes an absolute amplification, reconnection with your I am. It's gradual. Once you have touched into light, it isn't something you walk away from. And you'll not be allowed to ignore it. But these were your choices. You look very, very deeply within your own heart. You will know that these are decisions you made a very, very long time, if we can refer to time. Living in slowed down light, everything seems extremely slow, does it not? And I know these last 3 days you have gone through a major metamorphosis. There isn't a part of you that isn't reacting, whether you feel it now or not. And I must advise you that in what you view as the future, there will be some reaction to integration. If you wish to sleep, sleep. Take every opportunity to rest the body so your consciousness, both biologically and spiritually, will change totally. As it is. Most of you are wearing it very, very well. There are 3 of you who are having difficulty with the transfer or the perfected inner I am, the God and Goddess. And this confuses the receptive and the dynamic plus the minus. The receptive and the logical brain. And for this group, let us feel that for these things. I'm going to mention another item. Sound, the audible light stream. Hue, the God sound. But the surface, the past masters, the Radha Swami, divine, right here. As long as you can remember, this is not annoying. This is the sound that Hitler had and drove him mad. And I don't want you to think you're going mad. They're very distinct sounds. It's not like listening to a tap. Ultimately, it always comes or is heard in the right hemisphere of the brain. If your head weren't there, the sound would be. Some in the past have gone mad. I'm referring to these 3. The sounds, tones, but they must be released now. For they are not of that nature. And when they hear His sound, when they know God's sound, when they know the audible light stream, it's the most wondrous sound. Whether you hear it or not does not mean that you're not going to total transformation. For each the group, I would ask that we look, because it's exaggerated now with the feminine principle of existence. It's always something, isn't it? When we enhance and embrace the feminine principle if you are a male energy, or if you are a receptive energy and wish to be balanced with its male counterpart, with slight confusion with the two hemispheres of what we refer to as the brain. And there's three here who confuse sound. And if they came by it honestly, all of us come by every experience honestly. So as a group, look to it because it may come up for you. In other words, be encouraged, pursue, because you will hear it. When it's fully developed, you hear it only in the right hemisphere of the head. You are connected. So for those that have some circuitry that needs addressing, it's like wires that are disconnected or frayed, and they're short-circuiting. For the group, we feel the group. For the magnification and the intensity and preparation for this new body, both spiritual and physical, requires that these circuitries be corrected. Look to both hemispheres, please, of your brain. They're the opposite to your physical, as you know. So the dynamic, the logical, would then be the left side. The receptive, the right. And because of the oneness now that's coming into all of you, I'd like to see these hemispheres with the aqua blue from the brain stem, please, forward to the opening of the third eye. To balance in a figure eight. In a figure eight, gentle one. Very gently. Very, very gently. As we say unto ourselves in realization that we know we are whole, that we are balanced, and that we will carry the energy required for full enlightenment. Very gently. You see greater light come through the top. And wherever there seem to be frayed edges, this helps the cranial node open the third eye also. For often these are areas of distress, as we discussed. We say unto ourselves that we will open these areas and we will balance our view of polarity, and we will trust what we receive, and we will revert back to the wholeness that was intended, this complete God, man, human. Slowly and gently, from the medulla oblongata, brainstem, right all the way through. Yes, very well. Take it to the top of the skull now. And you can touch the pineal node, enhance it, please, and balance it. And release that pineal node or the third eye from visions that it wished not to see anymore. And let us advise these wonderful instruments as they come into greater ignition that the past is not a distortion now. The past does not exist. And we say unto ourselves that we release what was. For only in the now of our creative abilities is there any truth. You cannot compare what you were and what you are becoming. And it becomes greater and greater light as we cleanse the balance, the two hemispheres, and the opening of the third eye. So the whole head is in a sense of unison. And oneness. Between the pituitaries, one side is the brain, the other. Prefigurate. And tie these two hemispheres as one, so that we have balanced consciousness, that we use our brain in a balanced way for the integration of the 12-strand DNA will require a very healthy brain. For all information will be yours, and you'll not be using but a portion. Gently. And the alpha blue becomes whiter and whiter and whiter as the brain is less and less confused with its polarities and is more and more open to all that is. We accept universal consciousness. We accept spiritual consciousness. We prepare all aspects of self for union with our place of birth. And this we have done magnificently for all of creation. For all of creation, we've done magnificent work. And those that are confused, it's past issues, and we will heal you now, please. There is no madness within you. You cannot take a condition from the past and have it be persuasively focused now. So I live in the now. I live in the now of my creative abilities, and I'm prepared to do so. And in order to do so, this mind will have to function, learn to concentrate possibly better than it has. And I can do that, for I'm being enhanced with 12-strand DNA. And all consciousness will be mine. My intuitive self I allow to open now. I reaffirm that. I allow my intuitive self to be fully developed. Every cell in the body will respond to 12 strands. And that does not mean universal consciousness only, it means total consciousness. We heal our abuse of our telepathic ability. That again is the nape of the neck. The receiver is there. We gently heal that. So the doorway can open telepathically. Intuition, telepathy, all of these choices are ours. For they are our divine right. They are our inherent right that we have been denied. And in this denial, we affirm now the reconnection. With the 12-strand DNA, with the 12 chakras, and with the level we call the monad up into the source. We've anchored all these areas now within the thymus, and you've done this profoundly. It does not matter about your unworthiness, or where you think you are, or what it is you've done or haven't done, or where you've been or what you haven't done, in the sense of guilt. But nothing that was is anymore.